hope you're having a great day. Today we're going to talk about smoking. We already know why we shouldn't smoke, so we're not going to get into that. We're not going to get into the negatives. We're not going to get into what it does to the human body because we already know that. The purpose of today's call is we've had the privilege of working with thousands of patients over the years. And over the year, we pulled out commonalities of what worked for our smokers who finally kicked the butt, who finally got off. Okay, and now while there are other ways of doing it, but we just took out the simplest ways. You can do clinical hypnotherapy, you can do counseling, there are nicotine gums, there's all of that exists. But we're going to point out a couple of things that have worked, not for all of us smokers. Some of them still smoke and find it difficult. But most of them who stopped smoking found their answers in something that I'm going to take you through right now. So number one, we can understand that everyone's different. Some people can go cold turkey. They just decide to stop smoking and they never go back to smoking. Some people reduce it from 1 pack a day to 15 to 10 to 5. It's okay, don't compare yourselves to people. Remember that everyone is unique. Respect bio-individuality. The moment you start to compare yourself, especially when you're trying to improve something, build a new lifestyle, change a new habit, you already start to fail when you start to compare. The only benchmark of comparison is yourself. Are you getting better? Are you reducing the smoking? Have you stopped? Nothing else matters. It doesn't matter who did what. It doesn't matter how long they took to do it, because you are not them and they are not you. So let's get straight into it. So some people, like I said, went cold turkey. Power of the mind, which also shows us possibility. A lot of people, when they decide enough is enough, they never smoke again. Some of them just decide they're fed up with it. Some of them have health problems. Some of them have lung cancers. Some of them have seen their family members go through serious suffering or oral cancers or whatever. The human mind decides, I don't want that anymore. They go cold turkey and they never smoke again. For other people, they decide, let me take it gradually. That's okay too. Small steps, small wins every day. They cut it down, wean themselves off, and they finally get off those cigarettes. So number one, what's worked for our people? Number one, having alternatives. Having healthy alternatives or hobbies, like you play a sport or you take something new. Add something new to your life. Break that routine of when you smoke cigarettes and stuff. So when people developed a purpose higher than smoking, or a like or something that they're passionate about, it helped them kick the butt. It helped them give up smoking eventually. That's number one. Number two, if you are the kind of person who's not going to go cold turkey, let's say you smoke 10 cigarettes a day. All right, now what you want to do is smoke 10 halves. Smoke half the cigarette and throw it out. Hopefully the pinch of you wasting money will actually pinch you. But second, you're not really smoking 10 cigarettes, you're smoking 5 of them. So that's another way of doing it. It's like how you get people of tea addictions. They drink 25 cups of tea a day. So we don't stop them immediately. It's impossible. They'll have withdrawal symptoms. So we make them do 25 quarter cups a day. And then we cut it down over time. So you can do half cigarettes. That's worked beautifully for people. Having distractions and anchors. What are anchors? Let's say right now I feel it's time that Luke smokes a cigarette. I don't smoke, but it's time that I smoke a cigarette. Right now, I need to create a distraction or an anchor. For example, whenever I feel it's time for me to smoke a cigarette, right now, instead of smoking the cigarette, I'm going to pour a glass of water and drink it. Example. Or I'm going to take 2 balls and juggle. Example. What you're doing in the human mind at a subconscious level is you're creating a distraction or an anchor. Okay, so when Luke feels the need to smoke, he steps outside and he smokes. Now I need to change that neural pattern, because after a while, the subconscious mind drives on autopilot. So it remembers at 1:30 sharp, Luke gets up, finishes his patient, goes outside the hotel, smokes a cigarette. Okay, I have to change that. So now at 1:30, the subconscious mind knows that I'm going to do that, but I'm going to do something different today, tomorrow, day after. So I weaken the previous pattern, which is called a neural pattern, a neural pathway. Okay, and I create a new one over it. You can never get rid of it. You got to build over it. So I'm going to create a distraction or an anchor. So for example, what's an anchor? When Luke feels like smoking a cigarette, which again I don't, so please don't smoke. When I feel like smoking a cigarette, I'm going to call up a friend, I'm going to listen to a song, I'm going to take a walk, I'm going to do 10 push-ups, I'm going to do 5 squats, whatever it is. So the anchor creates a new neural pathway for you. That's worked brilliantly for our people who have kicked the butt. Okay? Now, the next are reflective questions. Many times reflection is very, very powerful because it makes us change our perception of what we thought was correct. You see, all of us have a self-image. We want that self-image to be right. So anything that challenges that self-image kind of moves us out of our comfort zone of thinking the way we want to think about ourselves. So what we need to do is basically change perception. So we've used two very powerful reflective questions. Okay, one of them is such. Ask yourself if you're struggling. If a child came up to you and asked you, hey, can I get a smoke? Can you light my cigarette? Can you give me a cigarette? What are you going to do? You're going to say, no, absolutely not. You're going to get angry with the kid. Now reflect on why. Why are you getting angry with the kid? Why can't the kid smoke a cigarette? Why? Because you know it's bad for them. And out of care, out of love, you're not going to give the kid a cigarette. Now you reflect on that. Why don't you care for yourself? Why don't you love yourself? Why aren't you extending that care that you would extend to a kid to yourself? So this is for you to reflect on. A lot of people stop smoking with this reflection because they realize that, hey, I don't value myself. I don't love myself. I don't care for myself. And over time, they started looking at you care, self-care, little ways to feel better. What voids were they trying to fill, which a cigarette also could not fill. And they eventually gave up the butt through reflection. The second reflective question for you that's worked beautifully for people is, the cigarettes that you're smoking, how's it adding value to your life? Is it making your life better? Is it making your life extraordinary? Reflect on this. In most cases, the answer will be not really. It's just a habit. I just do it because I'm stressed. I just do it because I like it, because I feel calm. So it's not really adding value to your life. So when you reflect on this, you see in life to grow, we focus on things that add value. And when we're mindful about it, we realize that after a while, these things don't serve us anymore. It's not adding value. In fact, it's creating destruction, so we get rid of it. So these are two powerful reflective questions that have worked very, very well for a lot of our people who have stopped smoking. The next, again, a distraction, simple, are 10 deep breaths. This one worked the first time, it may not work the 5th time, it may not work the 10th time, but do it. I feel like smoking right now, but I'm not going to smoke. I'm going to take 10 deep breaths. Inhale, slow, exhale, slower. Now I may still feel like smoking a cigarette after that. Go ahead and do it. Tomorrow, do the same thing. And then do the same thing again. And do the same thing again. Eventually, in those 10 breaths, after a while, you realize that you may not have the urge to smoke that cigarette anymore. Like I said, it's not magic. It's not going to work the first time. But eventually, it just may work for you. Okay? Now we spoke about neural pathways. Let's say you have a common place at work where in a break you and your buddies get together and smoke. Or there's a common time that you smoke. Okay? Break those. You may still smoke, but don't go to that common place anymore. Go to another place if you have to. If you need to smoke at 1:30, don't do it at 1:30. Do it at 2. Confuse. Break down the pattern that you've been created because of repetition and build a new one. So this is how you build neural pathways. That some people cannot stop. They find it very difficult to stop immediately, but many people can. So that's another point. A very powerful point is also visualization. Okay, we've done several guided visualization techniques. It's all there on YouTube, free of cost for you to use, where you visualize yourself not smoking, where you visualize your body getting stronger, you no longer smoke, you're using that extra time, whatever it is, you create the vision that you want that does not include you smoking. That is very, very, very powerful. And then of course, the whys. Why do you smoke? Is it stress? The cigarette's not going to take away your stress. The moment it's over, you're still left with the problem. So sometimes breaking down with your counselor or just by yourself, what are the stress factors in your life? What are the voids that you have in life? And trying to fill those so that you no longer need the cigarette. Now, everything I spoke about is really simple. It may work, it may not work. But the point is, we know it's worked for many people, so it just could work for you. The point is, put in the effort, put in the work, and it may just work for you. Have a great day, everyone. Until next time, eat smart, move more, sleep right, breathe deep. And remember, you care is all about you.